Well, thank you guys so much for coming. We're gonna give a minute or so for everyone to start rolling in here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday. Oh yeah, look at that button getting pushed. Oh yeah. I love that gift so much. Let's see here. Got to make sure I got the you guys open here. Perfect. It's good to have all y'all here. Um, we're gonna be messing around with some stuff inside of VC Create today. The particularly this smorgasbord of profiles all mashed together, which is I'll let Rhapsody explain that here in a minute, but I'll first do the intros. Uh, my name is Victor Gnarly. I am a former visual effects artist with Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. I worked on shows like Robot Chicken, Moral Oral, and a handful of other shows. And right now, I'm doing this stuff with you guys. I just love making entertainment, making comics, making videos now, thanks to Midjourney Video, and just so many other things that we're going to be getting into over the next couple weeks. We're going to be focusing on fantasy for the month of February, month of September. So wow, I almost flubbed and said February. The because we had so much fun with fantasy February, we're going to be doing that in September this time. So it's going to be a fantasy Febtober. Just a 6 month different. No big deal. No big deal. But you guys, we particularly love fantasy content, and it is something that I am excited to go much farther than we did during the last time we did this in February because we have Midjourney Video now. Well, on that topic, if you have anything that you want us to turn into video, just post it inside of VC Text. You'll find VC Text on your list of channels here on the Midjourney Discord. And if you just scroll on down just above the stage, you're going to find VC Text and VC Create. VC Text is where we're going to be chatting with each other, and we'll eventually get this stuff on YouTube for you guys to see. And then we also have VC Create, which is where we're going to be prompting stuff together. If you haven't used Midjourney on Discord yet, it's amazing for collaborating because we can easily just jump into each other's prompts and play around with each other's characters and do a lot of other cool stuff. We'll be getting into all that in a minute. If you're new here, be sure to say hey. We want to know what you guys are doing, what you guys want us to be doing as well. So just get all tippy tappy and be get inside of VC Text for us. Say hey. And thanks everyone for joining here today. I'm also joined here with Rhapsody.
Hi,
Yo.
that's me.
And also Kinky and Ancient from Midjourney.
Hello.
Awesome, awesome. And so I want to first have you guys check out inside of VC Create. You'll notice that there is a long list of profiles at the end of your prompts here. Um, do you have any sort of like explanation for which ones you picked here, Rhapsody, or did you just get lucky? I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
curious. I'm curious the whole
Uh,
process behind this.
it's partially luck and partially not. So I sat down at some point and thought, ha, I really need to rank more stuff. And then I looked into my profile codes and I noticed like I have mood boards, I have multiple ranked profiles. And also it caught my attention because the mood boards on the website got their own like little tab now. And I thought I needed to experiment with that. And then the idea came to me that I worked on these mood boards and profiles for what, half a year now? When did that get introduced? I think it's easily 6 months. I think at this point, and everything I like, and also some experimental stuff, is in these things. So I just combined basically all of them uh, and got this. And it's a mixture of all the anime stuff that I have done. There's VTuber mood boards in there. There is a manga mood board in there. I can show you a picture. I'm just gonna take a screenshot and post it in VC chat. Like there is a mood board in here that gets extremely awesome black and white lines and stuff, and color emphasis. And it turns out that the combination, I had to remove a few and add a few others, but the combination that I landed on with this just makes unbelievably beautiful and also kind of cinematic anime. So the Phantasma stuff is in there. The alien creature mood board is in there. And this long combination of things and all of the color balancing I have done in all of these mood boards just allows for a wide variety of things to be prompted, but still have, I don't know what it is, but it has this coherent quality. And the best thing is it works for Niji and it works for version 7. My environmental mood board is also in there. So it forces usually environments to be bigger and grand. And yeah, so all the variety that I had separate mood boards for is all in this combination. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Works really well. Of course, if you just prompt it per default, you will default to characters that look like mine. Like you will have a preference for white hair. You will have sometimes red clothing appear, and yeah, some other characters of mine. If you know them, you will see them. But with a little bit of description, it's very, it has a big variety while still keeping the style very locked in. And it's very clean. The lines, especially. I love how the lines are clean.
Yeah, one of the big perks that I found from this profile is just how well it translates to video.
Yeah.
The some styles just get kind of turned into clip art. You know what I mean when they move, because it's
Yeah.
essentially doing a form of edge detection to determine what the subjects are and how they should move and all sorts of stuff like that. But this profile does a really good job giving that subtle separation between the background and the foreground, and especially with a character focus that is the majority of like Rhapsody's profiles here, either focused on characters or they are environmental. That combination is just working out really well here. So like,
Yeah. And it makes
go ahead.
makes sense. What I found interesting is that I mean I created these mood boards always with video in mind, right? Even before Midjourney video was a thing, I prompted a lot in Pika. So I built these to create images that are good for AI usage, and it works. It's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. It is something that we're going to be exploring today in terms of translating this stuff to video. It largely gives us a really good inspirational starting point for us to develop the world around the characters and to and just in general to expand out and see what what's around this world that we've created for each one of these. And now I will invite you guys to the character portal on the Gnarly Studios server. We have a server dedicated to this stream. You're welcome to join it in order to submit your original characters. You'll find links to it inside of VC text. But the main benefit of this is that if you don't have an original character, you can just pick one from here. These are all community submitted characters. They have like their own, like a lot of them have lore and things you can read into, and we encourage you to follow with whatever is the established idea behind the character. But it's a really great way to just instantly hop in and start making stuff with us. The If you do have an original character you want to submit, you can do that too, and see other people mess around with your character, and it's just so much fun. I love doing this. I mean, the like let's take for example, like Drolnak's been adding a lot of really great stuff to their comic lately. I'm not gonna like just throw you guys into his whips or anything like that, but I definitely wanted to check out some of the like character art that he's been working on. So look at this. I mean, isn't that just gorgeous? Like, this is fantastic work, and I've had a lot of fun playing games and hanging out with Drolanak too. So, highly recommend that you guys check out the character portal and see what other people have been up to. We have tons of other stuff to also check out inside the server. I'm not going to go through it all with you guys today, but definitely if you need any resources for making either videos or comics, we're like a not only good, a great resource for that stuff. So what we're gonna do is I picked Drolnak kind of at random here. His character Tade. I did believe. How do you pronounce that? Tade or Tade Nemarv. But we can just take one of these images here, particularly this one here, and we're going to use this as a reference to bring this character into the VC Create that we have here. So let's go ahead and grab one of the existing prompts that has all the profiles. So you can see that Bert as well has this like mop character, Buckethead. I joked and gave a gift Buckethead for this guy. If you're not familiar with the musician Buckethead. But let's see. That OREF works great with part of the prompt I posted there. Okay, yeah, we can take a look at the rest of the prompt. Let's see. Okay, yes. So the prompt here, you've provided a very old elf. He has a really long gray beard and hair, and is wearing a dark brown robe. His face is full of wrinkles, and his eyes are blind white. Perfect. Okay, sweet. So let's go ahead and just throw that into VC Create with all of our profiles. If you want an easy way to do this quickly, where you don't have to like copy and paste all the stuff that you see, what you can do is you can go into /settings and making sure you have remix mode on. I highly recommend it in general because it means that you're going to be able to work with this stuff iteratively. And I'm already seeing some really cool stuff. Of course, the Golden Pasta with their cat girls. You can see here, as soon as I hit /settings in Discord, I'm able to turn on and off this mode called Remix Mode. Make sure this is on. Make sure it's green like this, because that's going to let us be able to just edit our prompts just by hitting the reroll button. So let's go ahead and grab one with... Let's grab this one because it has all the profiles in there. It just has a wording that makes it a fantasy cat girl from Golem. So let's just hit the reroll button on this, and you can see it automatically populates with the prompt that was remixed on. And what we're going to do is we're going to just add an OREF, so hyphen OREF, and then we're going to paste the image. You should know I added an extra profile. Okay, you added an extra profile to that one. Okay, which one did let's I'm curious which one you added here. I imagine it was just thrown at the end here, right? Or it wasn't thrown at the beginning, or just somewhere in the middle. Not that on that. Okay, we're good. Sorry, the one after that. Yeah, all good. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add hyphen OREF and then paste the link to Drolnak's character here. And then I'm going to come back to the entry for them and grab their prompt. And now we just embellish on this prompt. So we just paste this into the actual text field at the beginning here. That is a pretty important thing, that you make sure that there's a parameter in the front of all your links, unless you're doing an image prompt. An image prompt basically constrains the composition of the image, which means the link would be at the front of the prompt here. We're not going to worry about image prompts today. It's just going to be bringing our characters into a really refined fantasy world like preset. So let's go ahead and say that, because we have the prompt here, a very old elf. He has a long gray beard and hair and is wearing a long dark robe, a brown robe. His face is full of wrinkles and his eyes are blind white. This is just a character description as it is, which it will give us an image of this character. But let's go ahead and also describe the medium of this, as in we want to watch something. We want to see an animated film, and this one was set to 4:3, which is like a classic television pre-HD aspect ratio, which is fine. That'll work great. Let's go ahead and say that this is a dark fantasy anime depicting, and then we'll leave the rest as the prompt. Very simple, very, very subtle tweak that I'm adding to this prompt. It's just going to help us make it a little more cinematic. And if we get too much like imagery around it or anything like that, like not imagery around it, like a debris or otherwise like particle effects, like you can notice here that a lot of these results have these like particulates in the air. You can add a negative prompt for the word debris, and that fixes most of that. Let's see here. Okay, I already screwed this up. I included an OREF and a Niji prompt. I see. Let me go ahead and fix that really quick. Totally forgot that you guys sometimes are doing Niji here. So let's go ahead and first fix this and set this to version 7. And then I will add the OREF back as well. Now, this is because in version 7, it uses omni-referencing instead of character referencing. So it's a bit more than a bit more powerful of a tool than character referencing, but people definitely love version 6.1 and EG6 for its particular art style. So you guys are going to occasionally see people using EG6 as well. But let's go ahead and say that this is now an animated, let's just say dark fantasy anime depicting, okay, there we go. And that should be good. I'm going to copy the prompt ahead of time so I don't have to rewrite that in case I screwed anything else up. But let's go ahead and submit this. Did I screw it up? Probably not. We're probably good here. We'll see.
Yeah. Also, maybe one word in between for everybody who's new here. Never feel pressured into just watching. If you have any questions, if there's anything you don't understand, please just ask the questions in VZ Text. We're open to answer almost anything. So
Yeah, absolutely.
feel free. That's what we're here for.
All right, we're getting our result here. Let's take a look. I'm seeing some fun video stuff already from a couple of you guys. Yeah, I see Lola's character here too. Cool. Um, let's see what we get with this one though. We're okay. Yes, it just finished.
Is it business, Yona?
Yeah, I think so. I think from the tumbling up. Yeah, but there we go. Here is our character in a dark fantasy. And you can notice that this profile very much focuses on the character heavily by default, and that's almost always a good thing. I mean, if you think of most, just most animated productions in general, it tends to be focused on character, just like dialogue, one-on-one kind of sort of setup. But we can make this far more complex. This is just the start, the very starting point to make sure that the art style works, the character's compatible, all that. And you can notice that it is consistent on all 4 results. So let's now embellish on this, and then we'll check out everything else you guys are doing after that. So I'm gonna say let's try to make something quite different than what we see here. Let's just say that this is a long shot on a dilapidated. I'm trying to think. There was a better word for this. Yeah, let's go with dilapidated for now. Old wooden bridge. Long shot on a dilapidated old wooden bridge. With a dragon at the end. Let's just see what we get with this. Usually what we're trying to do is we're trying to establish more context that would pull the camera farther out and maybe feature more characters. If we start to include actual like shot description, like filmmaking terms, then it will definitely produce more in line of what we're expecting, like cinematic shots and whatnot. I'm seeing so many cool things that we're gonna have to just scroll past for now, but we're gonna double back here in just a moment. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I am. I'm definitely. What is it? I'm excited to show you guys what we end up building here over the next week or so. But it is going to be very much fantasy focused for the next couple of weeks as we develop the Spellbroke series that I've been dabbling with for like a year and a half to 2 years now, and I've been so excited to see you guys contributing to. So you can see here that after we included the context of the world, suddenly it wants to include that, but like we want to see if we can kind of drive this scene to be just to include all of the ingredients of the scene that we want to produce. And we haven't decided what that scene is yet, but I do see that at least in the 4th result here that we do have all of the elements there. the thing is that in order to to really flesh this out here, we could essentially take this into video and start to ask the character to do things like turn around, or we could spin around the character as like a 360-degree video, and that's what my tutorial that I'm working on right now focuses on so heavily. The next stream will start off with that tutorial good to go, so you guys can immediately go step by step of making a linear production with Midjourney. But today we're going to be focusing mostly on letting you guys explore these profiles and see where the limits are, particularly where the biases are. So where you get frustrated is where I'm most curious using these profiles. So let's see here. Let's double back now and check out some of the stuff that you guys have been submitting here, because I feel like we'll be able to flesh out one of these really well too. Thank you so much for submitting that character, Drolinak. I'm curious to read more of your comic. Let's scroll on back and start checking out some of this stuff. There's a lot. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, we're basically caught up here. All right, so we got a couple character turnarounds from Senior Carlos here. We have Agent here ready to push that third button on the wall. Let's see here. Gome and the cats, of course. I think you probably animated some of this already, so I'll be sure to check that out. We have from Rhapsody here, the most powerful and gigantic magic spell spans continents. Nice. And that just gives you a sense of like massive scale so that the camera zooms out really well and whatnot. And since there's no character OREF on this, it's definitely all environment. So that's really cool.
Oh yeah, and it's animated down at the bottom and extended 2 times already.
Nice. Let's check out some of this other stuff we got going on here. Ooh, my text here did get scrolled up. Okay, let's see here. Uh, okay, you're finishing volume 2 next week, Joel. Like, cool. I'm excited to see it. Wonderful World of Stuff said, I use a trick where I get the characters to walk out of the scene on video, capture the frame of the environment only being a bridge, office, or dojo, and get turnarounds of the environment for future purposes. Yeah, and that's exactly what the tutorial focuses on. It just goes even farther than that by having a bunch of reference frames for multiple characters inside of your scene. We've been quite excited to be reaching out towards that holy grail of, hey, here's 5 characters, make these 5 characters doing something in the scene, and going from there. And just because of like Midjourney's like very creative stint, it can be a little tough to do that at first, but you'll get the hang of it as soon as you understand what all the parameters do. Let's take a look at some of these videos here. Nice. Dig that. Oh, look at this. And curious to see how like the interpretation of magic in video is done with this, because we have all different sorts of theories that we want to be working on, but in terms of getting this visualized, it can be, I've used prompts like ferrofluid before to get the magic to behave in a certain way versus like either lightning or more of an airy cloud or anything like that. If I wanted to do something pretty specific, you can mention material properties and it'll do a pretty good job, translating that to video. I will say that something that didn't work for me was trying to do sign language, trying to prompt for specific phrases in ASL. I've done that back in version 5 to get specific hand gestures, and it doesn't work as well as I would have hoped. Let's see here. A refined fantasy howdy from Queen Lux. This is really cute. I know that we've been meaning to do a cowboy run with Vic here, and I'm sure we'll get to that eventually. It's good to see you, Lux. We'll definitely embellish more on one of these here in a moment.
Green goblin potion princess with orange eyes and white hair that has not been exploited enough in the last month. Smiley.
Is that this one?
Lolo's prompt.
I see, I see. Yeah, that's funny.
Love you too, Lolo.
Oh, here's that other clip extended out. Very cool. Yeah, and again, guys, if you have anything that you guys want us to run videos on, just feel free to post them in VC text. It'll save you from save you those fast hours to get some HD video for you. Let's see here. Ooh. Oh, Fungi Mancer. This is legit. Wow.
Yeah, that's an absolutely amazing render.
The text generated like flowing down from that is insane. Okay, I love this. Um, do you have the original prompt for this? I'm really curious. Ahimbo, the camera not move on this? Make the camera not move on this. Okay, I can do that. Um, so let's see. Yep, let me get to it. Awesome, awesome. I can't wait to see that. I'll go ahead and scroll on down. There's some really cool stuff from you guys here, though. Um, Forgot to set aspect ratio. Yeah, that can suck if you, especially if you don't have time to edit things and whatnot. When you don't set the aspect ratio for 16:9 or 4:3, yeah, you'll be frustrated that you get this really cool video, but you would have to do some video outpainting with probably a third party service to get anything useful out of that with the wrong aspect ratio. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this person's image here. This is Himbo, and they asked to make the camera not move on this. This is a pretty hard thing to do sometimes with Midjourney, and it really just comes down to giving it the right kind of reference, like video references, in order to get the camera to not move. So I'm gonna just first prompt for this in. Let's go ahead and grab that image link, copy image address, paste it, and then to make a video we do hyphen hyphen video. And what are you whispering, Raps?
I just posted my prompt without writing imagine.
Oh, I see. I see. Um, let's go ahead and first just kind of see what it does on its own, and then we'll make our decisions based off of that. So we don't need to actually include a prompt by default. We should just be able to render this as a just as an image, and then we can make our determination from there. Okay, that's right. I have to not do this in turbo mode. Slash imagine, paste the image, hyphen hyphen video, and then hyphen hyphen fast. And I have to do fast because I have them in turbo mode to make sure we can go in as fast as possible for image generation for you guys. Oh yeah, no, this is great. Flying this manta ray. Who did this? I trolled for you, of course. Oh, this looks great. I love this. In terms of controlling your characters in the scenes, we are using a video turnaround workflow to get like the backsides of characters and things like that. And you can see that they added the prompt back view of a Mantarog. The image that they used here is a very good image prompt in terms of like matching the intention, which is what you want to do. You want to get as close as possible, but you don't need to be high res about it, or you don't need to be that refined about the image prompt because it's just guiding the composition. Everything else you should be able to get out of the prompt itself. I'm already seeing some cool video stuff from you guys. We'll dig into that here in a minute. But I want to see, did this start rendering yet? I don't think so. I don't think mine did. It's okay. We'll get there, Himbo. We'll get there, Himbo. I promise. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so Fungi Mancer got it for us. Crimson red magical tendrils coming from above are growing and engulfing the crystal obelisk. The red tendrils are getting longer and swirling around the obelisk. Wow, so it did all the tech stuff on its own. Um, that's neat. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. I need to go back. There we go. Made it very subtle of the second image for a video. Got it. Oh, look at that. A rock and rolla. did it for you already. They made sure the camera didn't move for you, and you got a nice little loop there. That was going to be the response that I had to it was loop. Oh, there you go. Okay, so we got at least my version of it here. You could see the camera is subtly pitching in or moving like softly in all four of these results. In order to bypass that, it's just starting on a frame of mine. Okay. But if we go ahead and hit reroll on this, you could read the prompt here and to get an idea of what I did to just get this. I didn't include anything, any verbiage whatsoever. But if I now included one more prompt here, which is hyphen hyphen loop, we'll be able to force the first and the end frame to be the same. This heavily deters excess motion because it has to get back to the original image in order to create your static shot there. So yeah, it tends to just make things more static, which is good for what you want to do. Look at the dramatics of like this third shot here for my troll for you. That's awesome. Let the gods bless this image and animate it. Wah! That's great. Yeah, and it is fun to just kind of irreverently like, or just randomly prompt things inside of your box, and let the profiles kind of handle the mess from there. Dramatic entrance scene, summoning circles, swirling magical aura. Cool. So any of these kind of effects, I want to see you guys like, try to describe them in ways that pan out to how you imagine that they would be. And then we'll kind of guide them from there. Some really cool results that I'm seeing here, though. Let's take a look at one of these. The bubbles. That's cute. All right. Let's get some character focused stuff going on here. There's some really cool stuff.
Something that I also noticed with this mood board is because I have the alien and the environmental mood board in there. That's at least I think why it is that if you prompt for void prompts, you just do a few repeats, you're getting these gigantic, like, horizon filling monsters, dragon heads, and stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a couple of void prompts in there. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about there, it's a matter of just using quotes instead of text inside of your prompts. So we first do two quotes, 1, 2, like that. That is a void prompt. There's nothing written in the quote. It's just two quotes. And then we include the profiles, which we'll just copy and paste from another prompt here, like so. Make sure we have our aspect ratio set to something cinematic. So I'm going to say 16:9. We could go as far as 21:9 as well. Let's do that. Let's just do a couple of void prompts here. And now there's another command here that you guys want to be careful with. It will just kind of fill up your feed, but also you could quickly kill all your fast hours doing this. But I'm going to do a hyphen repeat, and I'm going to do 10. Which means 40 images from one prompt. Let's go. Boop. And so it'll ask you ahead of time, hey, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, hell yeah. Give me all that. Give me those 40 images. Let's go. And you can see it just starts to spam the server with, or spam the channel with these 40 images that it's generating right now. We'll see how those void prompts come out here and see how many of them become big monster boys. Monsters. Just monsters in general. They don't need to be boys. But look at this. In terms of the cities and stuff, like it's so often if you say the word like city or let's see, crawls through a vent tunnel before reaching the edge of a building, it's the word building in here that's making it. Oh, it's Gigapolis here as well. The Gigapolis city will definitely modernize stuff too. Let's see. Okay, all right. So here's the start of our void prompts here. We definitely at least we have one antler bird guy at least in this guy there. Let's see what other ones we got. Yes, there's a big dragon boy here. Cool. And you can see the void prompts are generally just going to give us a scene from an anime that doesn't exist. Like It's very, very useful for that to get like inspirational starting points for all sorts of stories.
It's very, and it's all very close to the stuff I usually have in mind, which is kind of spooky, to be honest.
Right, right. I mean, there's a lot of potential here to be like, look, okay, I love this environment for this, like this bottom left one here. You can entirely develop this scene or this location just with a single result. So I'm going to show that really quick with these. There's a lot of really cool ones from you guys already here that we're getting off of these. Anytime there's like potion bottles, I think Roxy's like right around the corner. Okay. So let's embellish on this one really quick because I do love this environment. We do have a lot of really fun little details that are in the building and around this character here. We can first start off with a video prompt to kind of let us circle around the space and see what is here. So we'll first go into animate low motion, and because we have remix mode on, it lets us edit the prompt. This is incredibly important for doing this sort of 360 stuff here. So let's say that this is some 360 footage spinning around the main character. I'm just gonna describe it like that for now. And let's set the motion from low to high to make sure that we get a lot of variation frame to frame. And that should be good. We have to add the word fast for me, but let's just go ahead and hit submit on this and see what we get spinning around this room because it's or the space here. Because whatever results we get off of these sort of 360 shots are oftentimes what we need in order to create the coverage or film coverage. And that's what most of my tutorial next week will cover is how to create proper film coverage with Midjourney. So I'm seeing some cool stuff from you guys. Oh yeah, look at this bird. I love that your lightning effect is like more than prevalent like in all of these results. It's really cool.
That's a Doombringer right there.
Oh, look at these from Lolo, these videos. That's really cool. I love the third one where it's like she's stuck on the top of this tower. It's very cool.
It's like she was kidnapped and now she's awake for the first time looking outside and it reveals that she's on top of the tower.
Exactly, yeah. Like she had no idea how she got here. Maybe she was like, she got a hood put over her head in the middle of the forest and this is where she wakes up,
Yeah.
Dig it. So let's see here what we got off of this result here. I see Brecky. Someone's generating Brecky. Brecky is from an earlier tutorial with Spellbroke where we actually have her falling down a hill and almost breaking her legs. It will get into that later, but I wanted to show you guys the real potential of this profile, in my opinion, is starting to expand on really working anime shots like this. Like this is already super cool. Some of them, like the bottom left one, doesn't make much sense because the character turns around into their back and whatnot. That's pretty common to see. But we're seeing that because of the focus on the character, we really starts to circle in around them. We didn't describe this character at all, so that's why we're also getting this sort of no focus on their face. As soon as I describe their face at all inside the video prompt, it needs to, or at least it's going to be very much encouraged to reveal the face. So if that's your intention, just start describing the face. If your intention is to show more of the world instead of the sky, then we need to start describing what we want to see, right? So I'm going to re-roll this one more time. We have an idea of what 360 footage spinning around the main character gives us. Let's have the character go inside the tavern that's there, or the, how would we describe this location actually? Let's just say that it's a hunting lodge. I'll just say it's a hunting lodge. So we follow the character. We follow the character entering the hunting lodge, and we'll just say that they're entering the hunting lodge and kind of go from there step by step and see if we want to embellish more and learn from our results here. There is one more parameter related to video called hyphen hyphen raw. That it takes your prompt more literally. It doesn't embellish on it at all. Depending on the results, sometimes raw comes in handy to say like, okay, yeah, I just want you to do this. I don't want you to add any other details and things. Raw will help you, get to there. But for what we're doing, for what we're just exploring today, it's going to heavily benefit by just running the prompts without raw, because it means that little details, like you see all the particle effects that are around this character dancing here, they may not move quite as well if we were using raw. We'll see. Just to
Unless you
remind this.
describe them, of course.
Of course. But these are things that people don't usually think to describe inside of the videos, like the images that they see. They just go, "There's some magic around,"
Yeah.
If I'm checking out some of the cool little fantasy screen cap stuff that you guys have been doing, like Goem here. That's from AC, Ambient Magic. Yeah, perfect. Alistair, I like this. It's cute. Okay. So I want to actually who's animating this one? Rhapsody. This one looks like she eats some
Yeah.
spicy food to me.
I wanted to make a meme out of it. I want her blushing and sweating rapidly.
Okay. Like, I'm curious how far we can also go with like, what is it? What is it? She ate some spicy food, and smoke is billowing out of her ears.
I think I got one. It's okay.
Is absurdly. So, and sometimes it helps to also write the word absurd inside of your actions, because think about most cartoons. There's usually something absurd, either physics or expression wise, being done. Even overacting will sometimes help, but absurd tends to push the exaggeration more, which is good for what we're doing. And then also just in general asking to I wouldn't say overact, but like the kind of blanking on my words here. There's definitely a lot of great ways to direct your characters that you have to think kind of a bit out of the box for, or to ask different kinds of exaggerations than you might be used to. So it's an absurd amount of smoke. I'll say absurd amount of smoke is billowing from her ears. Okay. There we go. We'll just hit submit on this and see what we get. Ooh, Enid trying another one too. This one's one of Tanner's characters, I see. Very cool. Cat. More particle effects here. It's interesting too, though, that with the particle effect here, like the you could see with the original starting frame there, they're not in the center, and it wants to pull them towards the center because that's more in line, I would say, with what you would imagine this sort of a magical effect doing. Like it's circling around the character instead of in front of them. Um, the prompting against that can be kind of tough. Like it's one of those things where I oftentimes just try to get the original starting image as close as possible to my intention. Um, let's see here.
Oh
Where's
no. Oh no.
I'll check out.
Poor girl.
I'll check
Oh
it out.
no.
I'll check it out in just a minute. We're gonna walk inside this tavern first. So you can see here that we are starting to approach the tavern, which is super cool. I mean, like this is giving us some immediate idea of the of what's inside of this space. If we're not happy with what we're seeing inside of the space, we could literally just say it's full of swords and shields, or it's a black blacksmith, right? And maybe it's full of like inventory of stuff to buy. But what I'm gonna
Shadows are coming alive and red eyes open in the dark.
exactly. You can start your storytelling right off the bat with something like this. But what I do like about this first shot here is how close we get inside of the building. So I'm gonna go ahead and upscale that. And let's
Oh, I
see.
troll for you. Don't animate my darkest secret.
King Sofa's got this purple. It's a very. I love that. That's really cute. Um, okay, let's see here. The owls fly away as she vanishes in purple smoke. Let's see. It could sometimes be hard to do like transformation sequences and things like that. Let's see here. That's pretty cool though. The disappears in smoke though. That's a hard one to do because of the. It kind of creates a puppet, and you need an end frame to really show that it's the same location or the same shot, and you can do that entirely with in painting. I'll show you guys how to do that in a minute because it partakes to this, but we've gone ahead and upscaled this image, kind of revealing the inside of this tavern space here. Let's go ahead and download this video, and then I'll check out all the stuff you guys. I know that there's other things. Is this the shame, or is it holding the frog? Oh, I know what this is now. I know what this is now. I'll move on.
Yeah,
I'll move on. Don't worry, Reps. I will not reveal your shame.
it's not a story for the stream.
Uh
No.
huh. Let's see. She is sweating very fast. Lots of drops of water. Okay, yeah, you can see the exaggeration is definitely over the top for this level, which is something you might see in certain animations. This big blobby tears and all that kind of stuff. If you want to be more subtle about it, you could definitely prompt for more of a loose water effect or something like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my other one really quick before we start breaking into that background there. Let's see. Where is. I want to show the smoke in her ears. Let's see if that at all came out. In fact, I can probably just find it by searching smoke. I guess it didn't render. I would have to dig through this. If you guys find it, let me know. I'm trying to find the render where I said there was smoke billowing out of her ears. So let's see. Oh, this is one's from Senior Carlos. Of course. Camera dolly out fast as she wipes her hand across her forehead, wiping away sweat. On the table, as the camera dollies out, reveal a bowl of spicy shrimp. Perfect. Perfect. This is great. This is definitely to Rhapsody's Bane here. Hi, cat. I gotta probably feed her to get her quiet. The Kinky, do you want to do the prompt announcements for prompt battles?
Sure, just 1 second.
Yeah, no rush, no rush. Yeah.
I want to know what now I want to know what prompt announcements are.
I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. My name is
Prompt
Kinky Kong,
announcements
and I'm
are the
here to
opposite of
talk to
delayed
you.
announcements, Rhapsody.
I was delaying the
Mm.
announcements, so it wasn't very prompt. When I said just a moment. All right. My name is Kinky Kong. I just want to let you know, all of you, that you are all cordially invited to an event we like to call Prompt Battles. We do this every weekend. We do 10 minutes on the clock, where we all prompt the same vague idea. We call that a challenge around these parts. And what we do is we go off, we do our own thing, we make it our own, and we bring it back and we put it in something called a poll unit after 10 minutes. And that thing sits in that poll unit for 2 minutes while everyone else gets in and all sorts of other stuff. Well, we do a roll call to make sure everybody got in on time, and then we all vote. And all of this is done completely anonymously. Like the voting's done anonymously, and the image viewing is done anonymously. You don't get to know who voted for you. You don't get to know who made the image. So it's all even, Steven, fair, and square. After we vote, the winner gets to choose the next challenge, and they get a free fast hour. There are other ways to get free fast hours. One of them is participation. One of them is uh, winning at bingo. You'll have to find out what bingo is if you show up, because it's really hard to explain. But it's easy to win. Um, and that was made by Stoopy Time Lord, our Stoopy Time Lord and Savior. But I hope that all of you come to hang out with us. Saturday we play later, and Sunday we play earlier, and we do it for about 8 hours every weekend. I'm sorry, 8 hours every day of the weekend. So yeah, come on down. Big Beats community, learn how to prompt new things, and have a little bit of fun.
Thank you so much, Kinky.
This has been your Kinky Minute.
Thank you so much, Kinky. And look, I just wanted to say, like, for anyone here that is wanting to join these kind of events, like, it's the best way to learn is to see how other people, try to all accomplish the same goal. So prompt battles is great for that. Thinking out of the box, definitely. Um, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take that video that I downloaded. Let's see here. Is this the right one? And I'm going to drag it into Chrome. I think yes, this is the right video here. So this is the one where we were like entering this shop here. And you notice that the last frame gives us a pretty good view of what's inside here. It looks like we got a bunch of bottles. We got a shield. We have various other like boxes and small storage stuff, a couple plants here and there. This is all really good because now what we can do is we can right click, as long as we have this loaded in Chrome, you can right click on it, hit copy video frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this environment as a static image for us to be able to use as video prompting, and also to see if we can use it as an image prompt to get a higher definition of this image as well. So now that I have this copied, I'm going to jump over to midjourney.com, and I'm only doing this on midjourney.com because it's a little bit easier for me to demonstrate some of this stuff. But if I come into here and now just paste that last frame into the bar up here, you can see that we have it loaded here is just the image, just this one frame of the video here. So let's go ahead and select this as you know what we should do? We should get the link from this image. I'm going to right click on it and hit copy image link. I'm going to go into the editor and I'm going to remove the character first, so we just get a nice clean plate of this background. So we go into edit from URL, paste the URL into there, and we can use the smart select button to just select the character in the scene like this. I like to go a little farther, like if we hit erase selection here, I'll go a little farther just to make sure that we get rid of any minor other details that might be here. Let me quickly get rid of this selection here. Go into paint and then just get rid of any small little stuff that gets left behind from the editor here, or of this character. That looks pretty good to me. And now we're just described this scene as a fantasy, a hunting lodge, fantasy hunting lodge.
Do you have the feeling that only selecting the character helps a lot? Because in my personal experience, I find that it puts another character often.
It really needs to have enough room to do that. I never really have this issue of just kind of gap filling like this, where it's just like saying, hey, all right, fill that in, just because the character doesn't dominate much of this frame at all. But if I go ahead and say, like, get a big area like this, it tends to fill in a character, especially with your profiles put in here. But without anything, with just writing, Fantasy Hunting Lodge with nothing else describing it, it usually does a pretty good job making sure there's no characters in there. But I'm going to undo this. And now that we have this image here, I can upscale it to my gallery. And let's go ahead and start to explore this tavern now that we don't have a character in there. Because it's going to really encourage the character to animate and move around and do all that kind of stuff. If we remove the character, now we suddenly have this clean environment that we can explore. We would need to start prompting at least along the lines of like maybe like other film directors or other like cinematic styles that you can think of in order to guide the result closer to a certain way of filmmaking. But I don't really like doing that. I prefer kind of capturing an entire space and then selectively recreating scenes by compositing the characters back into the shots. So let's go ahead. Now that we have this upscaled, I'm going to go ahead and hit. Let's do a high motion on animate manually here. I'm going to set this to high and then say that this is going to be now that we don't have a character, a 360-degree footage depicting a fantasy field in front of a hunting lodge. And if we did a low motion, we might be able to get a more of a subtle exploration of the building itself. We're not really seeing any doors or anything that we can go into right now, but this is part of, like, I would say, like the role playing aspect of this process. This whole workflow is exploring what Midjourney gives you. You know what I mean? I described it as there's an open field in front of the character, but if there's nothing that you've determined ahead of time, you can just let Midjourney explore the space for you, and allow us to build the story from there. This sort of disruption of the normal workflow of making scenes and characters and all that is just such an exciting part of Midjourney for me. Let's go ahead and see what else you guys have been doing in the meantime while we let that render there. Oh, we got some undersea scenes going on with these profiles. Awesome. Loving this ancient. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can see he is walking down the cobblestone path. That immediately will also encourage this sort of like view of the legs. Again, you're saying walking down, right? So like the subject matter now includes the act of walking. Therefore, we focus on feet. This sort of like literary sort of interpretation of your prompts is another useful side effect of all of these profiles that are in here. We're curbing away constantly from the gorgeous to like medium shot of a character, which seems to be the default for this profile here, or these series of profiles. So if we look at almost all the results, it's mostly a medium shot of a character, right? So we could just take advantage of that and say, let's curb away from it. Or we can say, hey, we know that this is going to give us a medium shot of this character, so we don't have to prompt for that. So let's see what we get. I'm going to scroll us back up a little bit here because I am sure that there's a couple of things. Oh, that's right. I do want to show some of the debris stuff here in a minute. I'm liking these video prompts on Tanner's character here. That's pretty cool, rock and rolla. I dig that. Oh, look at this from King Sofa. I'm gonna go ahead and blow this up a little bit. I have to copy the link here. Sorry. Copy message link. That expression, that smile is like a level of fairy creepy that I like. Like fairies should be kind of scary, honestly. The idea of them being too cutesy is a bit unsettling for me. I like the idea of they're just like, you can't trust them. You can't trust a fairy. No, they're little and they could get into things. You have no idea what they know. All right, let's see what you guys got. Fairy creepy is so perfectly said. Yeah, right. I definitely appreciate the uh, just any sort of dark fantasy theming is really where I lean on, and you'll see a lot of that when it comes to the fantasy stuff we have planned for you over the next couple weeks. Got two more kinds of work. Should I post them? I'm afraid I'm spamming too much. No, you're not. You're not spamming too much. You're good. You're good. We're almost done exploring the space here. Ooh, let's
Yep.
see. Let's see what we got here.
Just post. And I reiterate again, if you want us to animate stuff for you, don't feel free to just put a ping on it. Ping me, say please animate, and I will just press the button so you don't lose your fast hours.
And now let's take a look. Take a look at this result here. We have this really cool, complete exploration of this little hunting lodge here. There's even a fireplace. Like, this is awesome. This is a very cool result. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit copy job ID. And if you're on the website, this is a very useful way to share it with people. Like, the website's a bit more efficient for working on imagery and video. So if you do want to just share to like a group of people on Discord, like we're doing today, you could hit copy job ID, and then once you're in the channel that you want to share it to, as long as it's got the Midjourney bot on it, you can hit /show, and then paste the job ID here. Okay, it says external jobs not supported. Okay. Let's see. At some point, I must have made that an external job. Oh, that's right, because I removed the character from the scene. I wonder if that's something that can be tweaked later, because I don't believe it technically has any aspect of the external editor now that it's run as a video. So if I would have copied this image and then ran the same prompt instead of coming straight off of the editor, I don't think we would have run into that issue. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to download it. Okay. And then I'll paste it for you guys inside of VC Create. That works too. No,
This is also such a cool. This is also such a cool movement because we can, like, when it comes back to keyframe building, we can just take like two shots that are like 90 degrees apart from each other and place two characters in the scene and just look over the shoulder of the other, and we have a perfect conversation space
Right.
with the perfect background.
Exactly. Yeah, you just take your favorite frame from this, and you'd be able to use it. But I will say there is one negative to that, which is when it comes to this particular camera angle, like a lot of the profiles when combined together are going to be slightly low angle. It's part of the whole dramatic cinematic combination here. It tends to make the cameras slightly low and slightly looking up. So if you want to have a scene with two characters in it, we're going to have to zoom out a bit here, or we are going to have to extend this scene. And there's a couple ways we can do that. Let's just go ahead and grab a frame that kind of reveals another side of this hunting lodge here. I like this shot right here. So that is at the 3 second mark here. I'm just going to go ahead and load this into Chrome again. Get us to the 3 second mark. Something like, so it just, as long as we don't have like too many reads in the front, this should be fine. I'm going to hit copy image frame or video frame. Copy image frame. And then again, I'm just going to paste this into my bar up top in order to get us a link that we can use inside of the editor. Otherwise I would have to like download each result and all that kind of stuff. Look at this, the zoom out, by the way. We have the entire environment visualized for us. If this is something that we like, this is an open field around the hunting lodge. Like, this is exactly what I asked for. It's just not 360 footage. It's just the zoom out. But we could also use this to help guide it if we really like the environment it built for us here. But let's go ahead and take this image, copy image address, and now I'm going to go back into the editor. We will hit new, boop, from URL, paste the URL in here. And then what we do is we just do a scene extension. So we're just going to grab this and pan it up like this. And I don't really need to describe anything else because there's a lot of information just inside of the this image by itself. The fantasy hunting lodge should be enough. But if we did say, hey, I really like the way that it developed the background, like in this other shot that's here. I'll just load this up really quick. Go into our other shot that's here. This, which by the way, this 360, this is almost a 360 around the building itself. It's more like a 90-degree turn. It does give us a lot more information in terms of what's immediately in front of this space. But I'm going to go with this result here. I'm going to download this and use the same frame copy technique in order to make sure we capture this building as accurately to this result as we can. So one more time, I am going to load this into Chrome so that I'm able to get to that very last frame. Okay, like so. Right click, and hit copy image frame. And now I'm going to take this image and paste it into the bar of our editor that's here. And the idea here is that we've already described that this is a fantasy hunting lodge. We don't really need a style reference because a lot of the style is actually preserved inside of this image already. So what we should be able to do is just get rid of this, because it always will add a layer if you just paste an image. So let's first get rid of this layer, and now we have this. It is going to be an image prompt, so that means that it's going to look at this composition and try to recreate this composition. If it doesn't work as well, we could tighten the image to just the top of the building. But for now, I'm going to just hit submit on this as an image prompt. And we'll see how well it's able to recreate the top of this building just off of this one image. Doing this more for demonstration purposes because I already know that I'm going to have to do a couple things. You could see that we definitely got something that might work, but it's not really that coherent. It shows a lot of the reeds in the grass from the image prompt that's here, because guess what? That's what's dominating this image here. So let me quickly run this into the a image editor. We'll use the editor as well for this. So we'll hit new. My brain kept saying prompt, but it's sref. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the image link for this one, edit URL, paste. And now I'm just going to crop down to this size here. We could also use the snipping tool for this. I don't know if full cropping like this will work, but let's just go ahead and hit download image, submit. Yeah, full cropping. It says full cropping not supported. So let me try to download the image here and see if that does it. I don't think it will. Yes, it worked actually. So if you do crop down, you don't have to hit submit. You can just go ahead and hit the download image button, and it will do the same thing. It will it'll let you get a cropped image in. So if we look at it now, boom, it matches our cropping that we had here. It just won't let us submit it to Midjourney. So we'll go ahead and now click copy image address and go into our editor again, but this time we hit, oh, it's right there. Okay, we have it right here. Sweet. You can click, you can look, there's the on the right side here we have all of our layers. The main thing, sorry, not layers, we have all of our previous generations. If we click on this little image that's here, that brings us back to our original edit. So we can delete this as an image prompt here. We could paste it back in and say that this is the fantasy hunting lodge. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and hit submit on this now that we have an image prompt that's much more in line with the result, or like the aspect ratio of this image here. So let's take a look. Okay, so we got some reeds, but the roof is now much more in line with the size and scale of what we had in this other image. Look at this. So we just need to kind of describe this style a bit, and I think we'll be able to get this image off of this. So we could try it as a style reference and see if it helps, but I don't think it will. I think what will work better is if we're able to describe this image here. So let's go ahead and use the description function in Midjourney in order to help us describe this building. So if we grab an image and then drag it to the bottom here, is drop image to describe, this is going to do basically a reverse prompt. It gives us the prompt based on the image that we've provided. So let's go ahead and check that out. It's submitting it right now. The Animator's Survival Toolkit by Richard Williams is super classic, but doesn't specifically touch on stop motion. Yeah, I do love that book. I have that book in my library downstairs. But yeah, it is much more for 2D animation than anything else. Let's see. Okay, so we have four different descriptions here. It's so funny. It sees it as a blacksmith shop, so that's perfect. I'm curious if anything describes the ceiling or the roof. The roof is made of old wooden planks with some metal details. Okay, so that's a little bit. There's an outdoor fireplace. You can see many vases and vessels, or vases filled with flowers. I'm only looking for descriptions of the building, so I'm going to grab that the roof is made of old planks and some metal details. Get rid of the rest of it for now. And let's see if it says a witch's hut as well. A wooden blacksmith shop. So the roof of a wooden blacksmith shop. I like that. Let's see. Is there anything else about the ceiling? It's nighttime. It's dark. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and just use that wording there for now. And go back into our edit here. And now replace the words with that. There we go. And if we want to go even farther, I can try to downstep this to, say, version 6. So we hit the settings button up here, go to version 6.1. That will bring up character referencing, which is a little bit of a misnomer because you can use it for a lot more than characters. You can just drag that image over to character referencing and get rid of the version 7 inside of your prompt because it's going to get angry if you don't. And we're just going to hit submit with that as well. So let's compare the two here. So this is the one with version 7 describing it as a hunting lodge. And look, we got our board going across the top here, right there. That is quite literally the same as it is up here. So now what we can do is we could just keep inpainting until we recreate this. Now, I don't want to be too faithful to this because some of it doesn't make sense. There's like another shield that's up in the ceiling here and whatnot. But this is enough. Actually, this is quite a lot to match our intention. We might clean up some of the woods and the trees that are around. But for now, I want to just check out what the version 6.1 did with character referencing. And you could see that it definitely could be serviceable in some of it, but it's not nearly as robust as if we go ahead and start using, say, this one with the nice lighting on the front of it and whatnot. I like this a lot. So let's go ahead and expand on the scene just a bit and get rid of these weeds on the top because I don't think there's any of those. Yeah, it's pretty much just a straight, clean roof here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these reeds. Anything that's not consistent to whatever you've established as being your continuity, go ahead and get rid of it at this stage because if you don't get rid of it now, you're not going to be happy when you have to get rid of a lot more of that same thing later because these are like our base references for this. So I'm thinking about getting rid of this tree, but I think for now this is fine. We'll get rid of some of this other stuff that's here. Okay, that's good. And there you go. Let's go ahead and submit this. And with the exact same prompt, the only thing we're doing is we're basically just saying, yeah, let's give another try for this, whatever is on this roof here. And you can see, just by inpainting those, we were able to get rid of all those reeds on the roof. I think this one's pretty good. I like the hatched, kind of like clay, or wooden tiles for the ceiling. I like that. Okay, cool. All right, so we have our other shot here. It's still a low angle shot, but we can now use this in order to recreate maybe a different angle of this shot, or maybe slightly pitch up the camera. Because we're not trying to make video anymore. We're trying to make reference images in order to put our characters inside the scenes, right? So unless we want to have a full body shot where we see their feet, walking through this space, we probably want more of a medium shot or maybe a 2-shot of these of multiple characters inside of this scene. So let's go ahead and hit upscale to gallery. I'm gonna let that render. It doesn't take long to do upscales anymore. Everything is super snappy fast now. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask the camera to slowly rise up and give us a different angle of this scene. The reason I did this way, where we slowly pitch in and then shift to the right or up or down or anything like that, is just so that we have both a horizontal spin and a vertical spin of this space. We're not literally tilting up and down, but we're gonna slowly rise the camera at this point to give us an additional angle here. So let's go for now a high motion animate manually, high motion, okay. And I'm gonna say that instead of description of the roof, which we don't need anymore seeing as we have the image here, Let's go ahead and say that this is a slow, slow rising dolly shot. Actually, no, let's not say dolly, because dolly is going to assume that the camera moves on a track of some sort. Whether it's a real track or not doesn't matter. But it's assuming that the camera is going to push forward or pull back or something like that. So we won't use the word dolly. We'll go ahead and do like a slow rising crane shot. That's the wording I'm looking for, a crane shot. A slow rising crane shot of a fantasy hunting lodge. It described it as a blacksmith shop earlier, so like we might go with that if it's still going to fight us a little bit on it. But we'll do a slow rising crane shot of a fantasy hunting lodge and then hit submit. I am stoked to show you guys what we got going on for next week. I really wanted to get this like tutorial and stuff done for you guys, but we had a lot of different factors kind of get thrown into the mix here towards the end of the week. So I just want to make sure I got the right thing to show you guys, and we're stoked to show it to you guys. But for now, I mostly want to get you guys used to using these profiles and to know where the biases of these profiles are, because I feel like we're going to end up using this quite a lot in order to create these kind of like high quality anime level productions right off the bat. So let's see what we get off of this crane shot. In the meantime, we'll check out what you guys got going on in VC Creek, because I know it's a lot. I don't mean to be leaving you guys in the dark here. I just of course it's more shrimp attacks. Perfect. Super kawaii chibi rainbow BB, galaxy eyes, sweet expression. Yeah, you could, by emphasizing or leaning in even more to what's inside of these profiles, you're just gonna get so hard into look at the galaxy eyes thing. It looks like her mind is being like overwritten by one of those celestials, which is one of the god characters that we came up with the stream a year ago.
Yeah,
she looks like
something that was in the stone that she wears as a crown now. Like she's just getting beamed away.
I'm imagining that a voice that's not hers is speaking right now, and it's speaking through that stone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was looking for the celestial character
Let
sheet.
me show you what happened at the beginning of time.
But not too long. You could break a human by showing them too much. So if I search celestial on the character portal here, here we go, celestial. Oh, come on. There you go. If I search celestial inside of our character portal, you'll find the celestials, and then I'll link this for you directly. Copy link. Boop. Oh, there you go. So this is a god tier menace, or not menace, but a threat level god within our fantasy world, and it's this female, mostly female looking character with this cool flat top hat that is all galaxy. It's basically a living black hole. And I really, really dig the fact that this works so well. This was based off of actually some images here from, who was it? Let's see, who did the originals? Snick, spinning off of Fungi Mancer's run of Snick's character. All right, so Snick was the original creator of that. Snick. It's a Snick. But you can see here we have it filtered by fantasy as well. So if you do want to make something specific for fantasy, you could easily just hit fantasy as a filter here and get all of our fantasy characters, or all of our Western characters, or all of the sci-fi characters that we have. There's a lot of fun ones in there. I heavily recommend checking those out. But now let's go back to our create here. We're almost done with this footage here. I don't need to be running these in HD. I'm sorry that I am. It's taking me a little extra time. I keep forgetting to turn that off, but I've been doing a lot of HD footage stuff lately. So look at this. This is awesome. So It's definitely giving us a crane shot. We're rising and showing the the fireplace that's here. We probably want to add some fire inside of the fireplace itself, and then recreate this prompt because this looks really cool. I think this is awesome, but it doesn't get us what we need, which is a low angle, high up shot. So let's go ahead and tweak this prompt again in order to get that. So let's hit use. And then I'm going to say a slow rising crane shot of a fantasy hunting lodge. So I'm going to say a slow rising crane shot transitioning to a downward angle view of the fantasy hunting lodge. And the reason why I'm saying the transition to a downward angle is I'm trying to get that midpoint between these two shots. I'm trying to get that almost head height angle of this shot. And by using video, we are creating like so much more continuity than what we had with just images. It's so cool to do it this way. If we really want to recontextualize this image to the point where we need to create a whole new image, we can do that too. But I find video to be far more exciting for this because it lets us just like get tons of options. We are not limited to that 1 or 4 results that we get off of Midjourney. So let's let that also render. But I wanted to thank you guys so much for sticking around for this one. We have about 25 people here. It's pretty cool that you guys are all coming here to hang out and make stuff with us today. I want to kind of dig through some of the VC text. I know that it's been a little while since I ran through text here. You don't even have to add a character sheet to it. This SREF does a lot of the work for you. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that, Lizzie. There's a couple of cool things that have been shared with me lately when it comes to making stuff with SREF codes. I haven't really done much of that personally, but I will be digging into that soon. So let's see here. What are your thoughts about HD mode for video model? Okay, yeah, I do have a couple thoughts on that actually. The additional clarity in the HD model is 100% worth it if you are doing like if you really want the best results coming back to you, because the additional resolution does really seem to help coherency, like understanding the image itself. It's totally fine to run standard definition for most things, especially if you're just making quick memes and things like that. You do not need HD. But if you are trying to really produce a high quality like animation, it goes beyond just, oh, there's more pixels there. It goes into like, I can actually read what's on the labels of the bottles, things like that. And because of that, it can use that for interrogation of the image as well. So we can get a better idea of the world that's inside of your image as you generate these videos. So I personally run HD video whenever I'm making reference materials. That'll be the main thing that I use it for right now. But then as soon as I do have a shot that I am like 100% committed to, like I've made sure that the continuity of the characters is there, all that sort of stuff, I will then switch to HD in order to make sure that I that I really get the best resolution that I can for whatever production I'm making. Let's see here. Legends talk about it. The big negative, of course, is that it's expensive. Like it is easily more expensive than it needs to be for most use cases, right? So only run HD if you really know that your shot works, and it oftentimes ends up being that you get a good standard definition version of your entire cut that you're making. You could just remake it in HD later, as soon as you've committed to that. What is this where she takes over the distant kingdom of the sheep? That's so funny.
What?
This probably is relating to our Catan game from yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Oh no, it's related to the game from last week where I became a sheep in the end.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. What is the name of that game?
King of the Castle. It's a very nice game where the streamer, that was me, plays as the king, and everybody else can join and plays as the court. And everybody is voting on things to do when problems arise in the kingdom. And yes, the king can lose, and everybody else can also win. Like all the 3 factions that play against the king can win. And it, well, turned out that I think it was Fungimancer and not Alistair, but somebody else. Tanner. I think it was Tanner and Fungimancer who, well, were able to basically purchase services from a wizard who turned me into a sheep after also showing me all the history of time. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And we do game nights every Thursday at 4, the same time as we do these streams here. So if you are interested in playing games with us, you're more than welcome to join the Gnarly Studio server to do that. I got pinged twice in this server here, and I want to see why. I gotta scroll on up to find some of your old stuff here. I'm seeing some cool celestial stuff. Who pinged me? I have a lot of stuff to review. My God, there's a lot of cool stuff here. Oh, there's her getting the vision. Yes, yes, Sage Pingu. It's probably something that I prompted, if anything. So, all good, all good. Yes, we're back at the shrimp. I'm just gonna hit mark as red. Okay. What's this, Lolo? Yeah, he's tormented for sure. Oh, those big bug eyes, Enid. Those big bug eyes from your gif here. Man, they're cute. They're cute, but I would be terrified of meeting this person in real life. I'll be honest. Like, those big eyes. Those big eyes would be like, oh God, how much can she see of me? This is pretty cool. I like this wraps. Big monster walk. The only problem is the legs are in the ground.
You don't know that. Maybe it has roots.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, it's long. It's long.
Okay,
There's
okay.
much more to it.
Let's take a look at the whole thing. Oh wow, nice introduction to 4 characters there. Did you use an end frame for that, or was
Yeah.
it just prompted?
No, I just prompted that.
Nice, that's awesome.
I mean, they are a bit boring because the video model has, I don't know, no idea how they should look like.
Right.
But yeah.
Let me go ahead and get us a couple more of these videos running here, because I have a feeling that we're going to be able to make some pretty cool stuff with some of these effects here. Now, I do want to say that you notice that there's a pretty consistent, I've talked about this a little earlier, but it is something where I noticed that a lot of these image results is that we are getting a ton of particles around. We're getting a ton of like small amounts of usually magic, like little magical particles, but let's find one of these results and kind of lean against it, because I want to show you guys at least why I include negative prompts sometimes with these profiles. So let's see here. This result here has a lot of these little like magical dots and things, including this little butterfly that's here. Say we were having some trouble with the video output and it was kind of confused about what these dots are. It's very common for it to misunderstand that. So let's go ahead and re-roll this. But this time I'm going to put it included in negative prompt. So hyphen no, and then I'm going to hit debris. You can also use words like particle effects or dust or anything that kind of just adds this sort of noise to the image. We can negative prompt that away and see what the results of that are here. Ancient, sentient black hole, galaxy eyes, aurora of destruction. I do like the shaking. It reminds me of like a VHS effect of sorts. It's cool. Let's see here. Where is my negative prompt there? I would have thought it rendered it already. Okay, no, it's in the middle of it right now. Okay. An image of ultimate inspiration with the negative prompt of no debris. Now we have almost none of that stuff. There's a little bit on the top right here, but the we are seeing far less of this sort of like particulates in the air. So all right, take care, Lolo. But if we kind of embellish on that here, like I'd love this fourth shot here actually. It just helps get away from that sort of everything is floating around a main character, I've noticed. So negative prompts really come in handy for profiles, particularly, at least in my experience. So if we wanted to take this shot here, we could easily say, all right, let's animate a low motion shot here and call this an anime intro. So like, let's say that this is an anime intro title card. And so I'm curious what it calls this anime and see what we get off of this. But I probably have to word the word fast, didn't I? Yes, I have to word the word fast. It's going to get angry at me. It's going to get angry with me. Yeah, okay. All right, animate low motion again. So I'm going to say that this is anime intro title card fast. There you go. We actually haven't animated any of the Celestial original images either. I would imagine they animate really freaking cool. I think some of you guys already started doing that. But I'm going to take one of the original images now. We're just going to search for Celestials. There we go. We got them right here. There's a lot of really cool shots, particularly this image right here. But it has this big white block, which I wanted to fix later. So I'm going to instead, let's take, this one probably will give us some pretty cool effects with this one. Let's go ahead and do this. Any image can be used.
Or they are all static.
Yeah, they are all aesthetic. I'm gonna go ahead and take this image because you could use any image inside of Midjourney in order to create a video with it, even like memes and things like that. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to go into add images, and where it's this starting frame, we just paste it into there. And I'm actually gonna run this just as is. I'm not even going to worry about including a prompt for this one because I'm just curious what it gives us for this one. But let's see. Okay, so we have our prompts here for slow rising zoom shot transitioning to a downward angle of fantasy hunting lodge, and we're getting closer. We definitely got exactly what I asked for here. Look, we're going up with the crane shot, and then we're looking down. Boom. Now it's it's hard to say, hey, I want the crane to not go as high as this, right? But it does let us know that we're heading in the right direction for this. So I'm going to say that now that this is a, let's do a subtle zoom, a slow rising zoom out, subtle zoom out, transitioning to a downward angle view of, let's say a head-on angle instead of downward, because downward's really encouraging the fact that we're getting above the building here. So let's do a head-on angle of a fantasy lodge. This should help out a lot. We'll see what this does. Okay, and while that's rendering, let's jump ourselves back to VC Create here. Meditating at the Edge of Time, Silhouette of a Galaxy Woman by I Troll For You. There you go. Yeah, the first one seems to be the only one that really sold her as her, right? Let's see about these. The big white block. Oh my god. Oh my god. If you found this in a fantasy world, like, you would be terrified. I don't know, like what does this thing do? What does the obelisk of glowing white do?
Oh yeah.
Wait until you see the one above it.
Okay. I am Blockhead. This is hilarious. I dig it. Ooh, and you even have kind of like an opening for it. Like here we're approaching this big glowing cube, but you don't know it's a cube yet. It's just this glowing thing. I like that.
Oh my god, yes. That's so cool.
All right,
That
so
would be an amazing keyframe. Like
yeah, let's
both
do
of
it.
them.
Let's do that. Let's do a start and end with this then. Sweet. We'll do that in just a moment. I do want to show the anime intro title card though. I am not surprised that we just got like this big sword moment here. It's pretty cool. It you know what it is? It's the ending credits. It's the ending credits to like some like the text is here on the left side. Like I could totally envision this really quick. Like let's do the third video here. I'll get to the start and end here in a moment, but I just want to show this here. If we were to download this, oh, come on, open up for me. There you go. And you can just imagine that it says like by studio whatever here, and it's like it just starts scrolling through the names of like the people who made this, and then keep cutting to other dramatic fantasy shots. 100%. This works as that. I like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab the start and end frame for the block here. Okay. So we have our end frame. I'm going to hit copy image, jump back into the Midjourney website here, and first just paste one of these images. Whenever you paste an image, it defaults it as an image prompt, so you just get rid of it and you'll notice that it's inside of your library from that moment on. So I'm going to now grab the second image. A big block. There we go. And let's go ahead and start with this, and then we're going to run that just as a what is it? Just as a start to end, and we'll figure out what sort of verbiage we need to reveal. Like maybe we're looking at the POV of the person at first, and then we're transitioning to like an over the shoulder, and then revealing the character there. So I just want to see how much it can do within 5 seconds, and we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
So
I personally see a rapid like drone type flight down the hallway that is stretching as if like the depth of field and the zoom are cranked like at the same time, and then like it turns into this room and just swirls sideways to reveal the person in the gigantic cube. That's what I see with these two keyframes.
Yeah, I see that too. That's awesome. I definitely saw something along the same lines in terms of like the drone footage, which is a great prompt, by the way. If you just say drone footage of this, it usually gives you like this like overhead overarching view of the space that you are presented with. And while this is rendering, I do want to show our slow zoom outs here, to a head-on shot. That's exactly what this is. Look at this. And there you go. There's our head-on shot right there. We're slowly rising from the ground, and we have our head-on shot revealing the kind of like the setup for our little hunting lodge here. So this is perfect. So what we can do is we can download this. Okay. And depending on what we want to use this for, we can just grab that as an image prompt for later in order to say, hey, okay, yeah, this is the shot. Let's put our characters in there now. Let's decide who is inside of this lodge. So we first pick a frame that we like. Probably this one. That looks pretty good. Copy image frame. And just to show a little bit of diversity from what we've been doing, I'm going to load this up into Photoshop for you guys. So you can use any image editor you want with this, and it will still work with the same workflow. But now that we have this image here, we could say, hey, let's grab another image of a character that we have. So I'm going to load up the character portal here. Boop. Get rid of Celestials. And let's just grab I'm going to grab someone else than one of Drolenak's characters. We've already worked on one of his earlier. Let's let's see here. I'm gonna go with. Let's go with one of Legal Beagle's characters. We have his pirate guy here, who's in a variety of different styles. He's got a couple of ChatGPT images down here, but I'm going to grab this. Let's grab this image here of what's this character's name? Artie. And let's go ahead and just paste the. We need a full body of him actually. I need to get a full body of this character so we can create a quick little 3D turnaround of this. We usually focus on characters inside of our streams, but we're doing a couple of setup for you guys for fantasy. It's Artie. I see Artie. Let's set this as an Omni reference for this character here using this one image. And now I am going to prompt that this is a full body character art of a pirate in green and yellow attire with brown pants. With brown pirate pants. He's wearing his pirate pants today. And then I'll set the aspect ratio for something like 4 or 5. It doesn't really matter, but I just want to give us a little bit of headroom, but nothing too crazy. All right, so here's our low motion and then our high motion of these running towards this giant cube that's here. It seems like with low motion, it really wants to transition the space into something that is a little more like just almost like a hologram, and then shows it. With high motion, we see that we reveal the room a lot better. It's like an open space, and it almost looks like the person dances into the scene, so that's pretty cool. But I see Ancient also shared something here, so let me open that.
Super cool.
Copy message link, paste this. Is it? Oh my god, look at that. That's really cool. The cube sheds off and becomes this like almost like obsidian dark stone smacking down. Now the tree doesn't make much sense to me, and the room opening up like that is a bit odd, and the guy feels like he's surfing.
To me, it makes sense. It makes sense.
It's warping reality.
It is
As
certainly.
Yes, as the cube is losing its shell, the whole of reality transforms from a highly technical world into something that is fantasy.
I like it. It also it's the game. The game is dropping down. Let's see here. Okay. I want to go back to my creations here. See if we got this full body turnaround here. It says it's still submitting, so I'm gonna resume it one more time. Let's see if we can bypass this little hang up that we're getting here on this one. In the meantime, oh no, it's finishing. All right, it's gonna go quick. We're good. We're gonna quickly follow Gompasta's 360 video turnaround. And you can find that on the Gnarly Studios server by going to first Gnarly Studios, and then inside of our server here you'll find something called the Knowledge Base. And inside of the Knowledge Base you'll find all sorts of useful tools and things. Thank you so much for linking that inside of VC Text Kinky. You'll find using video to create character turnarounds. This is an amazing tutorial that Gompasta put together for us. Longtime member, awesome person, Gompasta. I'll just quickly write this inside of VC Text for you guys so you have a link to it. It is using video to create character turnarounds. And that is now in VC Text for you guys for a quick little linky poo for you. Once you click into there, you'll see that you'll be able to create stuff like this. Just these awesome, like so much utility behind this. Everyone that I show this to, by the way, I know that I've said this to Gom before, but I have a lot of like industry friends from my days working in Hollywood and whatnot. And this is what blows them away. It's this sort of quick referencing to where they can draw a character and say, hey, Midjourney, give me a quick turnaround of this doodle that I did. And it just does it. It's just awesome. So this is a very complex 3D character that's on display here. But, you know, I took my fantasy character from our series and just said, hey, give me a 3D turnaround of this. That's so cool. Yes, bury them in hearts. Bury them in hearts indeed. For sure.
Hey, Ryo, I should probably post my Ryo turnaround in this thread too.
You really should.
Like this trick is so amazing. I did so many characters with this now, like centaurs and monsters and characters, and you just like the best thing is if you have them frontal, like the first thing, you hand this to somebody who knows 3D modeling, and they can just remodel this
Oh, yeah.
because they suddenly have references from all angles.
And projection mapping, yeah, they could do that all
Yeah.
over these. It's awesome. There's so much utility behind this. It's not even funny. Like it's ridiculous actually. So basically, the way that this tutorial works is that it describes the character very very loosely, and it just says, "Give me a 3D model turnaround." Very, very generic term in that regard, but just that one phrasing unlocks so much potential. So let's go ahead and pick whatever is the most accurate version of Artie here. I do like him screaming, but I feel like he would just scream in everything. So let's go ahead and use this one here. Actually, I want to make sure that he's got his fists a little more visible. So let's do a variation subtle. It is incredibly important that you pick a shot that really, really works in terms of like all the details are visible that you want to see. If there's anything missing whatsoever, you're gonna regret that later, because you really want to make sure that you like that at least you cover your bases for referencing later. It means less work for you to do. In the shot that I'll be showing you guys next week, there's scenes where like I needed to like swap out backpacks and things like that for a satchel, and having these 3D turnarounds let me be able to do that. So his hands are in his pockets here. The behind his I like it with him with his hands behind. I think this is pretty good right here. So now that I have ample negative space around the character, a focus on this character here, we can go ahead and hit animate manually, and then say that we can say create a loop with this little checkbox here, and we're going to say that this is a 3D model turnaround of a pirate in a green coat. We don't really need to describe the green coat, but I feel like that it might help describe the back. If we really wanted, say, like a maybe a cut through the coat or something like that, we could describe it as a petticoat or whatever. This is the text that you're writing up here is only to describe the things that are not visible in your image, because that's what it's going to try to incorporate anyway. So let's go ahead and hit a low motion render of this. High motion tends to make the character try to move to accommodate the turnaround. Like they'll actually start shifting their feet around to show you all the angles of the character. With a low motion, we don't tend to see that. We tend to see more of just a literal spin. So let's see how this one comes out. In the meantime, there's plenty of stuff inside of VC Create. Let's take a look. Gompasta, Barry Gompasta.
Owls now.
I'm reminded of the owl from Secret of Nim. I love that character so much. It's such a creepy character. Satellite view of angels flying in the sky ready to attack hell. We're definitely getting a lot of anime bias with these profiles. I know that it's not all of them, but I'm definitely seeing similar biases anyway.
Yeah. I sometimes wish we had a slider to set profile strength.
Yeah, that would be nice. Ooh. I trophy satellite view of the best fantasy landscape ever that will make you cry. Yeah, it's certainly good. I don't know if it's cry worthy, but it's definitely good. I'm seeing a lot of like nonsensical structures like floating. Did it make you cry? No, it didn't. It didn't make me cry. You shut up. No, didn't. Particle effects, dust, debris, noise, particulate, and the soul flame is burning. All right, cool. You've used every word that I said no to. And look at the fire. It's like it's a bit glitchy here, and it's certainly a lot of debris and
Yeah,
other things like
sadly.
that. But yeah, it is
Fire
tends to be fire tends to
Fire
be a little bit
tends to be very glitchy. It's one of the hardest things for the model, I feel like, and one of the things that need the most improvement, at least in the things that I do.
Well, I think I have a good theory about that. It's treating the fire like a puppet when fire is actually random. Like it's one of the things that you can prompt for variation subtle on and have it look good if you animate random variation subtle frames of fire as opposed to running it with video. And this goes back to like version 3 Midjourney for the stuff I was messing with back in the day. But things like anything that moves quote unquote randomly in nature tends to work very well as a variation subtle, like manual edit or manual animate. So it's things like moving water, things like fog rolling, things like that tend to be pretty good if you just kind of vary your frames for that. But when it treats the flame itself as a puppet, it wants to repeat the start and end of that puppet consistently. That's why, in my opinion, that's why we see this, where we get and then it tries to add some variation there. But especially with the current model, it definitely it struggles at seeing the flame as a ephemeral thing, something that needs to change or otherwise vary a lot.
To me, it always feels like that in this, for every second, there's like a keyframe generated that is similar to the first one, and then it just fills in the rest. And that's why we get always this repeating fire. I mean, making good looking fire and even animating it manually does basically mean simulating a fluid simulation,
Right.
because flames behave very much like a fluid that gets invisible at a certain range.
It's a zero gravity fluid in that regard because
yeah,
it's rising up
yeah.
on its own accord. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's following spirals, and that's a very hard concept to get, especially in the temporal dimension, even for humans. Like, if you start animating fire by hand, and I have done this in school actually, we had like 4 weeks of just doing like flame sketches. You get it wrong. You
Yeah.
really have no idea at the beginning. It's super hard to understand.
Right, right. And it can help to minimize the number of particulates that you're having to animate and then composite them together afterward. That's one of the reasons I say, hey, no debris, because we can always add the debris later. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an effect that we can, any effects you can apply later. So I very much try to not have them in my prompt so that they don't convolute the animation in other aspects or other respects. So like, if we, oh, look at this, one of the Celestials animated by Fungi Mancer. That's awesome.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it's really cool.
that's really cool.
I did show something to one of my animation buddies, and they were just like, "You could remake this entire anime." And they linked me to an anime where it's known for having almost no animation in it, and I was just laughing at that idea. I don't know the name of it, but it's the idea of like taking an existing animated series that's known for how little is animated, and then going like, "Yeah, let me just make that into a complete anime for you real quick." Just sounds absurd, but yes, you could totally do that.
Just take all the keyframes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And be like, all right, here's the Midjourney version of your show. Goodbye. Good night. Okay, let's take a look at some of the stuff here because I am running low on materials, so I am going to do the show after the show announcement here in a minute. But next week, what? Go ahead.
it's already 2 hours. So
Yeah, yeah, we're definitely filled it up good this time. We're gonna have something really exciting to show you guys next week, but it'll be the official kickoff of Fantasy September stuff. We need to figure out a more catchy name for it, but because Fantasy February just rolled off the tongue super well. But I am super stoked to show you guys what we got going on. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this turnaround here, because this is what I'm going to finish up. Is I'm going to get the turnaround, the Swords and Sorcery September. I will say this. I will say this. The fantasy story that I have planned, at least in Spellbroke, has a lot of parallels to the tech industry, like little things that are like, you know, little references here and there. And I love the phrase Eternal September. If you do not know what Eternal September is, it is when Usenet in 1993 and 1994 got flooded with new students joining, which used to be something that was only known as being when new college students showed up in September, and then they would learn like how to use an internet forum, and they stopped being obnoxious on the internet. But after Spellbroke September, there you go. Yeah, we should do that. But the idea that it was Eternal September was that it was nonstop. There was always new people joining the internet at those. So it got coined as Eternal September, and I love that phrase. But let's take a look at our 3D model turnaround of a pirate in a green coat. We basically, what we're inspecting here is any sort of anatomical issues and structural issues of our character, as well as just making sure we have every angle. It doesn't actually need to be a clean spin, because we're only taking frames from this. So if it stutters a little bit, it doesn't matter. But let's see which one has the best fists that kind of hold the position here. I think this one does, but let's take a look at this fourth result here. The gloves being black like that really, really hide the details in the hands that we need. So I'm going to go with this one, I think. No? Is it this one? No. There we go. It's this one. So I'm going to go with this one. He does kind of have this weird thing hanging off his jacket here that we probably want to in paint and better describe as a pistol or a little sword or something like that. But for the sake of showing you guys this, I'm going to go ahead and download it.
yeah. Instead of inpainting, you can also add description of equipment that's not visible or not very good visible in the turnaround prompt. As long as your prompt is not too long, that works great usually.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I'll be showing in my video tutorial for next week is balancing the length of your prompts, because if you have a ton of character description inside of your prompts, it dominates your prompts for your video later. So it really does help to find that efficient amount of words to describe your character for this. Spelltember, actually, I like Spelltember. Ooh, that is fun. So let's go ahead and grab the head-on of this frame. So we can hit copy image video frame. And now we will go into the editor here, edit, and grab our... actually, you know what we need first? We need this background. We need to get the background I had opened here earlier. Let's see. Was it this one? No. It was another shot. Let me find it really quick. Create. Where are you? There it is. So we grab.
The curse of the billion tabs.
Yeah, the billion tabs, indeed. Yeah.
That would be a great AI song if somebody wants to make that. The curse of the billion tabs.
It reminds me of that cover song for, what is it, EverQuest, when it came to platinum. I got 1 million platinum. I forgot the rest of it, but yeah. We're just going to copy this image frame here of this background. So copy video frame, but boom. Come into create and then paste that image into here, just so that we have it as a URL that we can then load into the editor. So copy image address here, and then go into edit from URL, paste the URL. Okay. And we could crop in here just to make it back to the 16:9 or something close to 16:9 anyway. Okay. And then I'm going to hit that copy image frame of the turnaround of the guy here. Yeah. Copy video frame. And now inside of this edit, you'll see that just by pasting him into there, it'll also create a layer that's here. So instead of us preserving what's in the image in the bar up here, we're going to get rid of it this time. And now we are going to say that this should be a selection of just this character. So we go to select, include, and then click on the character. We start to just make sure that we start to, 2 reference points is all we needed for this. So good. Now let's hit erase background. Okay. You'll notice that there's still going to be a couple white spots here or there. So we'll just go ahead and click these. Let's just delete erase selection. Let's try this down here. There we go. Erase selection. One more. There we go. Erase selection. Okay, cool. Now we have a clean, version of this character standing here, but they're way too big for this shot. So let's go ahead and click them on move. And then we can now scale the character down and fit them into the scene. Okay. Now, I will say this looks very photoshopped at the moment. Like it feels very much like we just took 2 images and pasted them together. What makes the scene feel more full is if there's shadows, okay? So now that we have this selection here, we can click on the layer underneath it and start to paint and erase what's nearby the character's feet. So like something like this here, we got to look at the direction of the light. Okay, so the light direction is coming from behind the camera and coming down. I can tell because look at the shadow of the tree right here. That shadow implies that the shadow for this character is going to be back here. Okay, so by selecting this, we are now going to say, all right, this is a pirate in a green coat standing in front of a hunting lodge. And the character lighting will not match perfectly, but at least the shadows will help establish a sense of scale for the character. We will then in-paint with this in order to create this as an image prompt in order to guide where the character is standing inside of the scene. So we'll just hit submit for this. In fact, I probably want to get rid of the image prompt that's in here and hit submit. So we'll see how these two compare. I know that this stream was largely focusing on the profiles that we had curated for you guys today. I am very curious to see how you guys break it and what are your frustrations, because we know what it can do well. It can do character design really well. But I want to hear from you guys on our server during the show, after the show, or at any time during the week, just what sort of problems you have running with it, because that'll help us be able to make a even cleaner combination in the future. Right now, it's just kind of a shotgun approach to it. So let's take a look at what you guys post inside of either the text or media or any of the other channels inside the Gnarly Studio server during the show, after the show. Okay, let's take a look at these shadows here. You could see that we got one of them where the shadow's in the right direction. This is pretty good. I like this one here. We have a little bit of shadow behind the foot, nothing too crazy. That's good. Now we can go ahead and hit upscale to gallery. Okay. And let's go ahead and now use that as the image prompt for this character here. So we basically say, hey, here is the set, the scene. I want you to now make this into a cleaner image by having the characters like shadows be representative of the world's like light direction and all that kind of stuff. We can largely infer by using this as an image prompt and the character as an omni reference. Okay. So, okay, that's now loaded. We can drag that image up to image prompt. Okay. Again, image prompt, we should be allowing it so that we can vary the weight on it as much as we need. So if it's too literal, then we drop the weight. If we still don't get this scene, then we increase the weight of this image. But we also want this character in it. So let's take that image that we used for the close-up here, the copy image frame, and now we are going to use that as the omni reference for this scene. So I'll paste this into here, drop that into omnireferencing, and now let's describe that green pirate is standing in front of a hunting lodge. And I will go ahead and let's add an omni weight of 225. That's my kind of my preferred number. It's a little high in order to keep a bit more consistency of the character. Going too high in this number will give you some problems too. But let's go ahead and now say an aspect ratio. So 16:9. And I think that's it. Let's go ahead and submit that and see what we get off of this. If we want it to be even more literal, like I said, we increase the image weight. If we want it to be less literal and maybe have more creative freedom, we drop the image weight. Let's see what we get off of this here. What it should do, as long as the image weight's not too high, what it should do is basically set up this the character with better lighting, but we're still allowing for a lot of variation, especially of the building behind. But I just want to show you guys this level of control. And done. Okay. So you can see here that the character now has lighting and shadows that better match the scene that they're in. We see a lot of variation of the background, which is fine. But we can also use these images now where we've basically said, hey, these are all the same environment. We can combine those together with the editor. But instead, what I want to do is let's hit use again on this. Let's try to increase the image weight here. So I'm going to hit -IW, and then I'm going to increase that to 2.5. So the maximum is 3. The default is 1. You can go as low as 0.1. Different scenarios require different values for your weights. But I tend to find that the higher the weight is, the more that it preserves the not just the angle that we're taking the image, but also just background details and things like that. We could set this image as an omni reference instead of using the character here, but I think we're going to be good off of this. Let's take a look. We're getting really close. The main thing that I'm seeing here is we're going to have to do some variations to get the patterns on the wood roof and maybe do some description of the actual hunting lodge. But look how much more it looks like it already. We have all the bottles. We have the open room. We have the scene is all there. This is awesome. The character art needs a couple of variations, but we can easily just hit variation subtle. And now that we know that we have a good amount of the details captured in here, we could easily get those remaining details with just a prompt. We have a very limited verbal prompt in here. We just need to go in and describe that more. There needs to be shields there, needs to be plants in pots, things like that we saw earlier. We could just incorporate that back into the prompt, and that will help create the final image to be even more like the original. But there you go, guys. I mean, this is already so much better. Just by increasing the image weight, we were able to maintain this head-on shot of a tavern that we've made here. This looks great. So awesome. At this point, guys, I want to tell you all about the show after the show, which is on our Gnarly Studios server. It allows you to come onto the stage and talk with us directly about whatever projects you're doing. You're welcome to join the Gnarly Studio server and just hit the show after the show button, and you'll be able to start speaking to us directly. I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining today's stream. Get ready for Fantasy September. It's going to be a lot of fun. Spelltober, Spelltember, or whatever. We'll figure out a proper catchy name by the time we get there. But thank you guys so much for watching today's stream. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all next week.
Yeah, have a
Bye-bye.
nice weekend. Bye.
Bye. See you guys.